Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be going over 5 predictions I have for the future of Pokemon investing. I've seen a lot of people do videos like this and I kind of wanted to try it myself. You'll notice I sound a little different because it is 4th of July. I am, traveling, so the setup isn't all there. I apologize if the audio quality is just generally not the best, but we will make do with what I have. So let's jump in to the 5 predictions I have for the next year. So from here to next year, same time frame. What do I think is going to happen in the investing space? Well, I think Crown Zenith is going to double. I think Crown Zenith is going to end up being one of the most sought after sets and one of the most ripped sets in the next few eras. I think Crown Zenith just has that reputation of being really, really generous with chases, being very, very generous with the hit rates. And so a lot of people love ripping it, and this makes it super popular on rip and ship sites. Now, I don't really participate in rip and ships. I don't really buy them because you're basically buying packs at an inflated value, which I understand why you're doing it. You know, the person ripping it is trying to make money, so, right, it's a business to them. But personally, I would just rather rip it myself. I find more enjoyment in that. So yeah, I enjoy just kind of opening product myself if I do want to open it. And if I have to say anything about Crown Zenith is that it is one fun set to open. Personally, I've pulled the Guaritina V-Star. That felt insane to open. I've opened the Deoxys V-Star. I've opened the Pikachu. Graded that, got a 10 actually, and sold it as well. Ended up paying for the entire like Sea and Sky box that I got it from, which is so cool. Crown Zenith is one of those cases where it does feel like you can kind of just make your money back opening it up and even grading some of the hits that you get from a singular product, which is so fun. I feel like a lot of Pokemon sets, it does feel like it's kind of, either you get the top chase, you have a super low chance of getting the top chase, or you just bust and you lose all your money. Crown Zenith feels like that amazing middle ground where you're consistently getting hits. Maybe sometimes it's not going to be worth it, but at least you're having fun. You're getting some cool stuff, and best case scenario, you are making more than what you spent, and that can happen more often than you think, especially with how generous Crown Zenith is. Not only that, but it is one of the deepest sets. I mean, you have to scroll multiple just to get below the 2-digit figure in terms of like under $10, and even under the $10, like look, you have some hitters. You have this Latias, you have a Lapras, you have Gardenia's Vigor. I really like this card. You have a Hisui Samurott. Both of these are pretty awesome. You have a Deoxys, like that looks pretty sick. You have a Keldeo that looks pretty nice. You have Radiant Charizard. You have some cool trainers. You have Riolu. You have Turtwig. This Ditto is really funny. You have an amazing Absol card. It doesn't feel like it stops. Like I feel like I could keep scrolling infinitely and I'd keep finding more and more hits. And so Crown Zenith I think is going to be an insane investment. Would really really recommend putting Crown Zenith. Oh, and I forgot to mention that these predictions are going to be from like I'm kind of ordering them from most likely to least likely. Or like not likely, but because I think all of these are likely, right? These are my predictions, but just more risky, I guess. Things that I'm kind of like, I think Crown Zenith is a pretty safe bet. I think all of us know Crown Zenith is one of the best sets ever created. Let's just keep it a buck, guys. If you don't have any Crown Zenith, buy some ETBs, buy some bundles, and you will be set. Moving on to my next prediction. I think 151 is going to go out of print, and I think all of the products are going to double, probably. And I also think that all of these singles are gonna see some pretty high growth. It feels like we're kind of getting a ton of supply for all of these SIRs just because they printed so much. All the illustration rares, all the SIRs are being pulled a ton, but it's still holding up a decent price. I think this Charizard could easily break 200. I think the Blastoise could probably get close to 100 as well. I think the Zapdos is criminally underrated. This should be way higher. Super super awesome card. All of the evolution lines kind of tell a story. This Dragonair is beautiful, beautiful Dragonair. Amazing Poliwhirl, like some great trainers too. This Nidoking in the Sugimori art style. I know it's not technically that Sugimori art style, but it has that like watercolor aesthetic, which I really love. Great Caterpie. Yeah, I don't know. The set just kind of has it all. It's a 151. It's for Gen 1ers. You know, Gen 1ers have the most amount of money, as we all know. They kind of rule the hobby in terms of nostalgia, right? Base set booster boxes are always gonna be the most expensive thing, and so I think 151. It feels obvious. Super super safe play. I mean, already the sealed products have done things that you would never expect them to do. I mean, this 151 ETB is surpassing um, most or on the same level of many PC ETBs of sets in the same era. Like you could buy a normal 151 ETB almost for the same price of a Paldean Fates PC ETB. That feels insane. There is just so much demand for this set. I think again I would recommend buying a booster bundle display. Still a lot of them on market. Blooming Waters I think is not a bad pickup. I hate how these store. They're so big and cumbersome. I'm not a huge fan of them. So I would again, I'm really a big fan of the booster bundles. If you can't get your hands on ETV, go for it. But you did low key kind of miss your chance. Low key, um, you know these have run up so much. You're losing out on a lot of potential gains. But anyway, yeah, 151 is gonna do amazing. I think overall gonna be a great investment. Next is I think Paldea Evolved is probably not gonna stop. I just don't see us getting much more supply in the near future, especially if we're talking booster boxes. Like, look, Pokemon has to reprint Prismatic for sure. They're definitely going to reprint Prismatic. They're still printing 151. They're going to have to print Destined and Journey for sure. These are the newest sets. They haven't got enough reprint waves. Surging, it looks like they're still trying to reprint more of. Are they going to leave behind Stellar, Twilight, Temporal, Paldean, Paradox, 151, Obsidian, or Paldea? What do we think they're going to leave behind in terms of reprints, guys? I don't know. I think it might be one of the earlier sets in the era. Like, it just seems so obvious to me that Paldea is just not getting any more reprints. I don't. If that happens, I will be truly surprised. And so I think it is honestly one of the safer investments that you can have right now. Um, Obviously, it's a pretty top heavy set with the Magikarp, but I don't think it's fair to count out a lot of the other illustration rares, as I've talked about in my longer kind of Paldea Evolved video. Raichu and Tyranitar are still great trace cards, and again, the pop reports for those are very low because the print quality on the set was overall pretty bad. Iono is not a bad card. I think there's actually better Iono arts in my opinion in other sets, but that's just me. I think the Paldean Fates Iono is better. Very cute Mousehold card. A lot of Gen 9 Pokemon that are great. You know, as I said, the Fuecoco and Sprigatito I think are going to be good contenders for, you know, um, better cards in the future. Skeletors and Meowscarada are some of the more popular starters we've gotten. Like I think the Gen 9 starters are just clearly better than the Gen 8 starters. Let's be completely honest with ourselves, guys. These starters are just way cuter. They're way more fun, way more personable. Love this Miss Magius. It gives me a tarot card feel. This Baxcalibur is super underrated. I think there's a lot of cool Gen 9 Pokemon that are represented here. Tinkaton, I think, is going to be a very popular Pokemon going to the future. It's got that very like classic design that I feel like I see in a lot of other video games and franchises that I think Pokemon did a great job executing it here. You know, with the like small person, big hammer trope. I think it's going to do well. I think people are only looking at the Magikarp right now, which is fine. It makes sense, right? Magikarp's a Gen 1 Mon. You have Shinji Khan doing the art. Makes sense. But people who didn't play the games or don't care about Gen 9, they're not seeing the true depth and value of the set because they don't give a shit about Gen 9 Pokemon. Real fans of the series and real fans of Scarlet and Violet era in general see that this is an insanely strong set. You know, like there is a lot of love given to this generation. I'm kind of surprised like look at this Farigiraf card. I love this. I'm surprised a lot of these cards weren't put in Scarlet and Violet base. It's interesting they decided to put in Paldea Evolve, but I don't mind. I think it's an amazing set. I think it's gonna continue to surprise people and just do wonders. Currently, the booster boxes are sitting at around 360. You guys already know I advocate for buying the ETBs. I think the promos inside these are great. If you want to get even riskier, go for the PC version. I think these were severely underprinted compared to the like prismatic PC ETBs are way higher in terms of population compared to Paldea Evolved PC ETBs. These were not printed as much as the prismatic ones, so I think these one have an even higher scarcity in that sense. But yeah, the booster box is going to be great for ROI in general, and I don't think you can go wrong buying Paldea Evolved products, especially if you can find any for MSRP. I know they've been showing 3 plague blisters. They've been showing up in Targets and stuff. Not a If this is your last chance, you don't have any Paldea involved, might be a good buy for now. Moving on, Evolving Skies. Now, obviously, Evolving Skies booster boxes are going insane, but we need to talk about something specifically. So, I don't know if you guys know who Anon TCG is. I think he has like distro access or something. I'm not too familiar with all of his videos, but I've been watching him recently, and he makes a very good point in this video, where he kind of has this amazing spreadsheet. Again, shout out to Anon here. Go check him out. He has the ETB price as a ratio to the booster box price, and he kind of has them sorted here, as you can see, based on that ratio. So we can see that, like, obviously certain ETBs were not printed as much as others. Like, I think Rebel Clash is a big example. The ETB is very highly valued because it's a sealed product, and this sealed ETB is pretty scarce. But look where Evolving Skies is. Yeah, the ETB is severely undervalued. I'm telling you guys right now, Evolving Skies ETBs are going to go parabolic in the next year. I think people are really sleeping on Evolving Skies ETBs right now, and I think I mentioned it in my best investors under 500 or something. But yeah, I think Evolving Skies ETBs are gonna do wonders for your portfolio. If you have none right now, definitely recommend getting that. But besides Evolving Skies, right, which I do think is undervalued, I definitely think you should be picking some of these up. Lost Origin, right, looking like this could be a really good pickup in terms of the ratio here. Astral Radiance, Silver Tempest, and Brilliant Stars are all amazing pickups. I would even recommend the PC version. The PC version of all of these are still pretty undervalued in my opinion. And yeah, I think Evolving Skies ETBs are going to do amazing. Again, a shout out Anon TCG for this data. Good video from him. But yeah, I definitely recommend picking up some ETBs. And if you're a PC believer like me, pick up some Pokemon Center ETBs. Yeah, I think these are going to be undervalued, and people are going to be wishing that they didn't. And people are going to be wishing that they bought more of them. Yeah, I think they're great. My last and biggest prediction is that Evolving Skies booster boxes are going to reach $1,000, and I think they're going to be on the same level as Fusion Strike. Now, why do I think this? Right. First off, the Guaritina is a generational card. This is generally one of the best chase cards we've gotten in a long time. Guaritina is maybe not the most popular Pokemon, but it's popular enough, and a lot of people have enough like core memories with playing Platinum. It's a very Gen 4 Pokemon. With I think a lot of like people came in with Gen 4. It's a very popular Mon. I think it's popular enough that it's good enough, and it has the textured foil, plus it's a Shinji Kanda art, plus it's Guaritina. All of that it's a perfect storm, and I think this card is it's a titan among Sword and Shield era, in my opinion. I also think people are sleeping on the general like set list. Aerodactyl, Gen 1 Mon. There's a lot of cool details going on with like the different Pokemon going on there. Pikachu Trainer Gallery. Is Pikachu not the face of Pokemon? Cool Rotom card. You got a Gengar in this set. You got a Sleeping Pikachu, which is very cute. You got Leon's Charizard, which I think is going to pop off in the future. This Eternatus VMAX it actually is pretty cool. If you like the Sword and Shield video games, this moment is probably pretty hype to you, but I think we'll have to wait for those kids to grow up before they really start caring about that. Cool Gallade card. Snorlax you got in here. He's eating. This is cooler than the gold rare. Why do people care about the gold Snorlax? This is way better. And so yeah, I think generally this set it has everything it needs, I think, to really go parabolic. But here's the one thing that maybe most people aren't considering. Look at the population of the Giratina. As we saw with the Magikarp, low pop means a lot, right? And I'm not really suggesting that 7 or 8,000 is low pop, quote unquote. But it seems to me that the Giratina actually has not the best gem rate. As you can see, it's around 14k at a PSA 10 and around 500 for a PSA 9. You know, so around $1,000 difference. This is pretty normal for most of the cards, but I think this gap is actually going to get enlarged over time, because look at similar cards like the Moonbryon, 17k population, 4k PSA 9 population, right? And so you can see, like, yes, obviously a lot more people are sending in the Umbreon to grade, but also you can see it just has a higher gem rate in general, better print quality. I don't know what went on with Lost Origin, but it seems like the print quality maybe is not as good. Silver Tempest, look at this Lugia, 18k population, 10k PSA 9. Interesting that I feel like there are a lot of, I guess the pull rates for Lugia might have been a little easier than Guaritina, but in any case, the 50-50 split is actually not an amazing gem rate. And I think this could actually really propel Lost Origin. But again, this is my least confident prediction, I would say. But I do think Lost Origin will probably double and reach 1,000 by 2026. And when I say 2026, I mean by like July 4th, this time 2026. Just to give myself a little more leeway, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think Lost Origin is an amazing set. I think it's declining a bit, actually. Yeah, I think Lost Origin is actually retraced quite a bit. It hit a high of around 530, all the way down to 497. Okay, so let's check out some last sold for Lost Origin booster boxes. We have 550, 500, 490. That's a steal. 500. This is a case, it looks like, for 285, which is around 475 per box. Not a bad buy in my opinion. I would definitely buy that. Yeah, so it's looking around 500-ish. Yeah, I think if you scour around some deals, you can definitely find it for around 500. Who bought this for 900? Hey, yo. Man, some of you guys need to need to start thinking a bit. What is this? 900 bucks? Guys, come on now. Who's doing that? That's some shill bidding, no? That's crazy. But yeah, I'm a big Lost Origin believer. I have 3 boxes, or yeah, I think I have 2 or 3 boxes. And I bought one at like 250 a while ago. Like, I'm telling you, it was hard to find Lost Origin booster boxes for MSRP because I wasn't really in the hobby back then. And once I got in, they were already pretty expensive for some reason. And so I just kind of caved and I bought it for like 250, and I didn't really regret it. And honestly, I think I'm probably going to keep buying more. I really do believe in the box in general, and I think it's a great chase. And I'm a Shinji Kanda believer. What can I say? I do think, you know, Paldea Evolved and Lost Origin kind of have that similarity to me, to a certain extent. And so, yeah, I think Lost Origin is going to do great in the long term. Let me know what you guys think will happen in the next year. Will Megas take over the scene? Is everyone going to lose interest in Scarlet and Violet era? What do you think will be the best investments in the next year? What do you think will double your money? Let me know in the comments. Make sure to like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.